Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to The Huddle, the Review.com's weekly high school sports show. I'm Rob Toter, joined as always by Jeff Zupanik, and we're going to do a condensed version of high school football this week. Make sure you check out the Review.com throughout the week. We're going to have interviews with coaches and players from the big Alliance Marlington game coming up Friday night. And just to recap that, if Alliance wins, they'll finish 9-1 and they'll win the NBC championship outright. If Marlington wins, they probably get a playoff bid, and they're going to share the NBC championship with Alliance. So big game at Marlington on Friday night. Make sure you check out the Review.com throughout the week. We'll have video previews of that game with players and coaches. But for this segment, Jeff, let's talk about all the games in the area this week. And we'll start with that Alliance Marlington game. For all the marbles in the NBC, Alliance has already clinched at least a share of the NBC, but there's no question the Aviators want to win it outright.
Absolutely. You don't want to share it, especially with your rival. And for Marlington, you're going for back-to-back NBC champion. You know, great job fighting back to get in that position after the start of the season. And it's the first time the two teams have met where it's been so much has been on the line. You know, it's not just bragging right. There's playoff seeding, playoff spot, championship. I mean, it should be a tremendous atmosphere Friday night.
So let's break this game down just a little bit. Obviously, Alliance is going to do as well offensively as Deuce Johnson and Howard Frazier do, because they're the two keys to that Alliance offense. So from a Marlington standpoint, how do you slow down Deuce Johnson and Howard Frazier, short of stopping them in the bus on Route 62 on State Street out to the stadium?
That would be the first option, but probably, I mean, just, you know, got to be able to very good sound tackling and, you know, lower body tackling, I would think, with kind of maybe the approach that Marlington had in the last game against West Branch with Caserta. I know, not comparing him to Deuce Johnson, but just the mentality of there weren't a lot of broken tackles out there, just tackling. I mean, the simplest thing in football, tackling.
Yeah. The first half of that Marlington-West Branch game impressed me. West Branch, Caserta had some really big holes to run through. Marlington did a great job of adjustments in the second half, or at halftime, and in the second half they really shut down that running game and made West Branch one-dimensional. The key here, I think, though, is for Deuce Johnson. If he has those kind of leads to run in the first half, he's gonna score.
Oh yeah,
because of his speed. He's going to get into the secondary and outrun guys.
Yeah, and in Marlington, you know, very aggressive defense that they bring guys after you. So there's a lot of times when they've been susceptible sometime when you get back past that first level of their defense, you know, there's some big plays. So as I said, you're going to have to close the gaps and make sure you tackle.
Blaine Himmelheber had a great game defensively for Marlington in that game last week at West Branch. He had several pass breakups, and I think that's going to be a key too. If he is in position to make stops, he's going to have to. There may be times where he's the last line of defense against the run or the pass. He's going to have to make tackles. So there's going to be a lot of pressure, you know, right there.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I think that if you're Marlington, you have to come in this game. You have to say, we want to make them a passing team. Even if we got to put all 11 guys up there. You know, but I think that's what they need to do, and then it's going to come up to the secondary play, like you said, Blaine Himmelheber, Ethan Lilly, guys. They're going to have to make plays in that secondary.
Yeah. So let's switch things now. Marlington's offense looked really good against West Branch and scored 35 points, pulled away in the second half. So what's the key for the Dukes? Quarterback play was outstanding last week, and I'm sure that's going to be to put pressure on that Alliance secondary.
Yeah, that and just no turnovers. I don't think, you know, Alliance capability, they've also been able to do it with defensive scores and setting up big plays just all over. I mean, the tremendous amount of athletes that are going to be on that field Friday night. Hey, Marlington, just stick with what you've been doing, you know, sound running game. They tend to wear teams down in that second half, and they've been a better second half running team in the first half. I think they're just going to stick with their game plan, and you have to hope for Marlington that you don't fall behind by 2 or 3 scores, that you kind of have to abandon that running game, which has been a weapon for you.
Yeah, definitely in the second half, Friday night at West Branch, Nolan Domer in that offensive line wore down West Branch's defense. You can see that probably from about late in the third quarter on, definitely. And C.J. Griner had just a really good second half. Very accurate with his passing. And that's going to be the key, I think, if they can continue to put points on the board. This is not going to be a low-scoring game, I don't think. If it's low-scoring, it's going to surprise everybody. And I think it could be one of those like the Alliance-West Branch game. It was 49-45 and Alliance scoring in the final minute.
No, you're right. I mean, I think typically there haven't been too many low-scoring Alliance-Marlington games, and it's a test for Alliance. They've never won at Marlington. The two teams have been all the games they've won in the rivalry, the 4, have been at Alliance. So you know they're a little something. They can try to go out to Marlington and win in a place they haven't done that before.
Should be a lot of fun. Make sure you check out the review.com all week. We'll have video previews of this game and, of course, coverage Friday night on the review.com and then, of course, in Saturday's Alliance Review as well. And it's the Backyard Brawl Trophy game, too, so make sure you check out. We'll have coverage of that as well. So let's talk about the other big rivalry game, West Branch and Salem. Not as much on the line here. Obviously, Salem, I think, has an outside shot at a playoff spot. West Branch definitely has not had the season they had hoped for, but obviously a victory over their rival would cure all ills.
I agree. I think there's a little more, I want to say, animosity with West Branch and Salem than the Alliance. I mean, those teams, when they get on the field, they just act like they do not like each other. And, I think there's going to be a game where they're just going to really go after each other. And, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same thing as we're talking about the Alliance Marlington. It could be one of those games that's 49-45 too.
West Branch, the key, obviously, quarterback TJ DeShields, and we talked. Thomas Caserta had a really good first half last week. Marlington made some adjustments in the second half and kind of choked off that running game. But balance, really, for both teams is the key in this. If the team that can achieve balance between the run and the pass is going to have a big advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I haven't seen both teams this year. It seemed like if their offense is going and they get some plays early, it seems to just kind of create some momentum and allows them to, play well for the rest of the game. And, I thought West Branch did what they needed to in that first half. I think they just ran out of gas against Marlington. And for Salem, I mean, how high are they right now? I mean, they beat Louisville, for the first time since 1928. So I think they got a chance to close out in this final week of NBC play of beat Louisville last week and then beat your rivals. I mean, plus you said they have a chance to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Coaches always say you're never the same team twice, but I got to think that win at Louisville last week and knowing what happened last year, West Branch won this game last year 27-0. So I would think Salem emotionally is really on a high right now.
Absolutely, and I think that's another motivation. You mentioned that, okay, you want to carry over what you did. You have the possibility of playing next week in the playoff, and also that revenge factor from last year because, Salem probably thought they should have won that game. I think it was a surprise that West Branch won, but how they won it. Right. I mean, it seemed like they really dominated in that game last year. Yeah. I'm sure that's left a bad taste in Salem's mouth.
Don't forget, that game is Saturday night at Riley Stadium in Salem. And again, we'll have previews throughout the week, and we'll have coverage in Monday's Alliance Review, but also live in Saturday on the review.com as well. So the other game for the area teams, the Sebring Trojans, last chance to avoid a 0-10 season, but another tough road test. They're going to go to Mineral Ridge this week to close out the year.
Yeah, it seemed like, against Waterloo, Sebring, played well. It seemed like Waterloo just kind of wore them down, which, they had a kid go over 1,000 yards for the season or career season, excuse me. And then, just one of those things with the numbers game sometimes just kind of rubbing in. But, the thing that's been consistent is all the other coaches have talked about Sebring is just how much they respect the kids for going out there week after week, day after day at practice, and how hard they're playing against their team. So I think that's something to hang your hat on for Sebring.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you check out the review.com all week for previews of the Sebring Mineral Ridge game. And, of course, that game will be Friday night in Mineral Ridge, and we'll have live coverage on the review.com Friday night and in Saturday's Alliance Review. So until next time, we're going to have a playoff edition next week of the Huddle. This for Jeff Supanik. This is Rob Toder. We'll talk to you next time.